Today's guest is Orry James Creane, Managing Director of Cowley Groves, the Isle of Man's leading independent estate agency. Founded in 1979 and owned by Orry's family since the late 80s, Cowley Groves blends deep local roots with modern, tech-driven service. After qualifying as a Chartered Surveyor in London, Orry returned home in 2017 and now leads the firm day to day, recently overseeing the record £15 million sale of the Isle of Man's most expensive home. How are we, Mr. Orry?
Good, yeah. Not too bad. Thank you for having me on.
Feeling good?
Yeah, not too bad, yeah.
Wonderful.
Good. Yeah.
So I was thinking of how I wanted this to work when I was planning it, and
Yeah.
after you reaching out, I thought, perfect. How do we go down this route? So I think that we start from the very, very beginning, really. By the way, if anyone hasn't noticed yet, we've got Orry's little pup Baxter in here. Little cutie, get down, boy. So let's start off with your family, really, and how your father started and ingrained himself into the business when you guys bought it in the late 80s. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I was born on the Isle of Man, but my family and wider family all from Ireland. So my father was working and living in Dublin, and he came over with one of the Irish banks to set up a branch on the Isle of Man. So he was a assistant branch manager, a branch manager of, I think it was Ulster Bank. And he came over with the idea to do that. And I think he then found himself meeting new people, meeting different people, getting involved in different things. Yeah. And then he ended up in a state agency. And then the opportunity came around to buy the business. Yeah. And he sort of took it with both hands. And wow. Sort of 40 odd years later, here we are. 40
years?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good ins in an industry, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's still around. I mean, I'm not naive or arrogant enough to think that he doesn't provides a huge amount of value. So we talk all the time, daily, about whether it's just this thing happened to me, what do you think, and bouncing ideas off him, or whether it's just day-to-day stuff in the office.
Well, you can't buy experience, can you? No. And that's one thing that man 100% has. And that experience for someone like yourself who's not, I mean, you're not fairly new to it, but you haven't been in it anywhere near as long as him. So how do you sort of use his knowledge? Do you just bounce ideas off him, or take him to see houses, or how does that work?
I used to go to houses with him, but bear in mind, so I'm 36 years old now. I think 36, yeah. 36. I was sort of in and out of doing work experience there from 14, 15, 16 years old. So I've been around it a lot. Yeah. Here, always, if we were traveling on holiday somewhere or we were driving in the car, when car phones came in, he'd be talking on the phone all the time. So I'd sort of probably picked up a lot of things along the way. But I've been doing it a hell of a long time. Yeah. So knowing what to do when I go through the door is that went away a long time ago. But just sort of say, if something stumps me, or I'm not certain about something, or bouncing a value or a strategy or something, it's great. And we think quite differently, because he's got a more sort of a old school black book approach. And now the way that the market is now, there's so much more around marketing. There's so much more around sort of creating a fuller picture that is even different from 5 years ago. It's come on quite a lot. And I think in our industry, everyone's super competitive, which is a really good thing, because if they weren't, we'd just have been doing the same thing we were for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, that's interesting. Competitive.
It's good. It's good competitive, though.
Are you a competitive person?
Yeah, extremely. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't.
Yeah,
but I enjoy it.
The competition.
I've never had like Monday blues or Sunday blues, whatever you want to call it, thinking like, oh, I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
Really? That's really good, man. Not many people get that, you know.
I like what I do. Yeah.
Right, and when it comes to competitiveness, then where did that begin? Because that's something you start as a kid, surely, like running races at school. Or
I have an older brother. Who is very competitive as well. He lives in the UK and is extremely successful at what he does. Nothing to do with property. Yeah. But yeah, we were extremely competitive. Whether it was running, racing, playing ping pong, Geez, we had a ping pong table. In our garage. We used to live in top of 2nd Avenue, and the fights that would go on in that room, launching ping pong bats. Yeah. Jesus Christ. And then played a lot of football, played a lot of rugby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But when I stopped growing, I stopped playing rugby because everyone just kept getting bigger, and I had shoulder surgery. I was like, no, I'm done with this.
Out of there. Well, it's quite similar. I can
Yeah.
relate to you there because me and Herb are quite competitive ourselves,
Yeah.
actually. And it's something that's ingrained in you. And do you think it's a positive trait to have being competitive? Because some people see it as a negative, but I see it as a positive.
I think it's probably quite dependent on the individual. I think you can take it too far, and it can take you to places which you probably shouldn't go. But yeah, competitive is good as long as you're aware of it, because there's a fine line between a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But using competitiveness to push your business along, stay motivated, and being proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah, that's kind of like a weird sort of marketing soundbite, isn't it?
Yeah. Dig into that quickly for me. That's interesting. Do you come across that often as a leader of the company?
Being proactive
rather than reacting
I
to
think
a
it's more of a-
situation,
it's a
like
sort of-
deal with the situation and then move forward. Is that what you mean, or?
I mean, sometimes things come out of nowhere and you have to react to them. But I think if you're being proactive about whether it's doing certain different things within your business or being proactive about reaching out to, let's say, someone their house has been on the market for 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
Don't wait for them to give you a call and tell them, why is it so much? Yeah, just give them a call. Just be proactive at things, but rather than reacting to it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because when it comes to people selling a house, that can sometimes be a really touchy subject, I'd imagine, for people. Like
It's extremely personal.
Yeah, very personal, and that's not an experience. I mean, I'm 22 and I haven't got my own house yet, and I don't know that feeling. But I can imagine for someone like yourself, people are putting a lot of trust in you or your company, so to speak.
Well, for the most part, it's the biggest financial decision anybody will ever make in their life. Buying a house, it's a huge thing, or even renting a house. Oh, he's appeared back now. Where did he go? Oh, was he sat under there? Okay, good. If he disappears, let me know.
Yeah,
he's
can't get him too far.
No, he's done all right. He came into the office as a pup, and he used to sit in the window. And how many times people pop their head and go, "How much for the dog?"
Really?
Oh yeah,
he is cute.
No, we love it. I've sold the house because of him. Somebody came in and said, "How much is that doggy in the window?"
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh, whilst I've got this house. Could you come and value it?"
Oh, yeah.
And I went out, and then we put it on the market, and I think about 2 weeks later we sold. Well, we agreed to sell it.
Perfect.
So I was like, "Great, he's paid for himself."
You use him as a tool.
No, he's great. And then the girls in the office and everybody else in the office looks after him.
Right.
Yeah, he's very sweet.
And that's another thing. People do react to impersonal situations, don't they?
Yeah.
When they're selling a house, like you said, it's the biggest financial decision one can make.
Yeah. So I think estate agents can quite often get a bit of a bad rap, but for the most part, 9 times out of 10, the people that are either selling their houses or buying with us, they end up happy.
Mm-hmm.
Someone sold a house for the money that they wanted to sell a house for, and somebody's bought a house that they like. That's if you simplify it from very, very simple, we're there to help facilitate that.
Wow.
To make the process, because so many people go, "I've never done this before. What do I do?"
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah. But then some people go, bought and sold houses for the last 30, 40 years.
So if you've got a newbie who's never bought a house before, how do you sort of talk to them about the scary situation ahead? For of someone like myself, how would you say to me?
Just take it piece by piece.
Just go for it.
Yeah. I mean, there's other people within our sort of wider industry, whether it's lawyers who will help you do the transaction, whether you've got mortgage consultants and mortgage advisors or someone directly within the bank. There's quite a lot of people involved in it. Yeah. And everyone will be really understanding, because everyone in the Isle of Man is by and large, everyone's really nice and everyone's really approachable. So we just take it piece by piece. Oh, I don't. If someone gets really stressed out, I don't know what I'm doing, or I've never done this before. Well, cool. Let's just go and see this house, and if you like it, you like it.
And do you do much peopling these days? Much interacting with people as the manager? Like, are you out in the field
all day, every day?
Okay, so you don't just sit in an office and talk on the phone sort of thing. You are actually in the mix of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So whether it's valuations, viewings, it can be anything all the way from, like, as you can say, a £15 million house to a £50,000 flat. Doesn't bother me. The whole process is the same. The people are the same. Yeah. And just because something's more expensive or less expensive doesn't make the process any different. Doesn't make it any less important to somebody.
That's a big one, isn't it?
People want to feel like, and that's the thing with whether you're showing someone a house or selling someone a house, you want to make them feel like they're the only person in that time right now. So whether that's not walking around your house with the phone.
Yeah.
And just concentrate on what you're doing.
And do you have to teach people who come to your business how to act with the client, and how you at Cowley Groves want to? I think you mentioned to me that you guys are very focused on relationships. Do you have to sort of explain to people when they come, like, okay, we are a relationships,
like people who work for us?
Yeah. So when people join,
I think that starts with the hiring process. When you talk to us, we've got interviews. We want the right character because we're a reasonably small business.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to make sure that everybody gets on. But there's certain characters are certain type of jobs.
Yeah.
Like if you were quite shy and reserved, that's not the type of job where you're going to go out and show people around houses. You need to be quite personable, gregarious, outgoing, and want to do that and enjoy doing it. Because if you don't, you can teach someone to be a bit more extroverted.
Yeah.
But if they don't enjoy it, then they're not going to enjoy that job. Because there's people like our jobs because you get an element of being sort of, let's say, business style. Like if you want, put on a suit, go to work, but you're not chained to a desk all day every day.
That's really big,
and it's quite nice. You get out and about. You could be in, like we are now, you could be in Ballabeg in the morning and Laxey in the afternoon and some apartments in Douglas during the day. Bear in mind, we rarely get to stop and have lunch. Most of my lunches are a meal deal parked up on the side of the road. You know what I mean? So I'd rather do that than just crack on.
I like that.
Yeah.
And did that come? I really want to pick your brains on the stepping into leadership side of things when that happened, and
that's been sort of a gradual. It's been
how have you found that? How have you found that experience? Because some people don't ever get to step into a managerial role or lead people, and I'm interested in how you handled the situation. What's up, boy?
He'll be all right. That's all kind of learning from my father, really, because from a what I do point of view, he is the person I've looked up to the vast majority of my life. So it's having conversations about those conversations where I'll call him and say, they tend to be more internal conversations about I've had this encounter, or I've had this conversation, or staff members come to me and present this concern. I will generally bounce that off him. But there's also, I don't want to bother him. He's paid his dues. He's done what he needs to do.
He's had a good innings.
Yeah, he's had a great innings. Yeah, I mean, the man's in his 70s and he acts like he's in his 40s. Like, he's great.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I want him to be able to just switch his phone off, which he does do now. I try and call him sometimes, or on WhatsApp when it ticks or double ticks for 12 hours, it just one ticks. I'm like, that's great. Like, he will respond to me, but I'm just glad that he's. Yes. Because he's earned it, yeah.
He has 100% earned it, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's on holiday now somewhere.
All right, for some.
Yeah.
But did you find the experience, did you sort of approach it as a learning curve?
Yeah, totally.
It has to be a learning curve. If you aren't willing to learn, surely.
I'm still I mean, I'm fairly new at doing it. Let's say, quote unquote, running a business. But the phrase I've used to friends and family is, it's very different from just going out there and selling and renting houses and whether it's on offices and all that, because we do all that type of stuff. That is very different to running a business, whether it's looking after revenue, profit, loss, internal HR issues, people going on holiday. That's totally different from just opening the door to a house and doing a deal and doing all that. So that's been a learning curve, and it will continue to be a learning curve. Yeah,
there's so many different areas that are challenging then, aren't they? As well as running the business, it's people dealing with people. It can be tricky.
Yeah, it is.
That can be.
But then again, if you go back to your looking at people that we hire, it's if you can start that process earlier. Yeah, granted, like people have come into our business that we probably thought one thing of, or they thought we got something different of us, and it hasn't worked out. But there's some people in our business who've been there for. Coming on, someone's celebrating a 30-year anniversary in the business this year.
Oh boy!
And then another colleague of mine, Simon, our associate director, who does a lot of our sales, and he's my age, right? So he's the same age as me, 36, and he's celebrating 15 years at Cowley Groves.
Whoosh!
So that's for a 36-year-old to spend 15 years already at one business is really great.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, it's really good. And then there's other areas of our business where we've got some new people. So yeah, it's just. We all want to get on. I'm not interested in having squabbles or arguments.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What was it like though when you've got people who've been at the business longer than you, and you come in as somebody who's now managing, but they've been there and got more
I
slightly
was running
more.
around that place at 2 years, 3
But you
years
were
old.
running around and you were
Yeah.
in the nitty gritty from the beginning.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, not nitty gritty, but I was running around. I always make the comparison. So I've got 2 young daughters.
Yeah.
And even today, this morning, I was in the office just picking up
Working on a Sunday.
No, I wasn't working. I just went in and I was popping some things in the office. I was with my wife and my two daughters, and they are running around. They're 2 and 1 years old.
Mega.
And it's nice because I was doing that.
Yeah.
Going around the back and swiveling around on the chairs and doing all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's nice that sort of
No, that's great.
and it's almost like it's part of our sort of wider family legacy.
Yeah, and sort of makes you happy as well. What a sweet dog.
Yeah,
I can understand why people want to
you can tell them to get down.
to buy
Backs.
Get down, boy. Get down. Down. Good boy.
Yeah, and it's sort of come full circle. And weirdly enough, I was at Centre Parks. First time I've been away in ages. Well, I was at Centre Park with the kids and my parents a couple of weeks ago, and this is when we actually got told, or I got an email that that sort of larger deal went through. And my dad he pulled me aside and he said the last time I was at Centre Parks was 1994 or 95, and I was about 4 or 5 years. He showed me a photo in the same pool that it was in, and he goes, that was early days in our sort of business, and it was like after the late 80s recession. He goes, I remember being at Centre Parks and it being sort of like really sort of quite worrying and worried about what's going to happen and is the business going to go forward. And he goes, and then I come here 30 years later and you talking about doing this type of deal. He says it was quite, he said that was quite impactful for him, because going from something in Centre Parks feeling like really worried to this, oh, we're good. Like
we're good.
No, but not even necessarily good. You've done something great.
Yeah.
And the business has done something great. So that's nice. So that was quite nice.
Yeah. What was that experience like selling that property, man? That's something that I definitely wanted to dig into. Was it exactly the same as selling, like you said, a £50,000 flat, for example, or apartment, or
when I say exactly the same, maybe not exactly the same, but like the emotion that goes through, because it is quite important and
it's huge. It was in the press as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It did get picked up a bit, and I got 1 or 2 phone calls about it. But yeah, I think it's more important because certainly the person who owned the house, the style of the house, it's not just sort of selling like a white box house.
Yeah,
it was a bit different. Granted, we've been involved with that house for a very long time, and it was nice to see it finally come to fruition. And do it. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of early mornings, late nights, missed weekends. I actually think my wife won't care for me, won't mind me saying this, but I got the call from the person who wanted to look at it. I was on my day off. It was our wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
And
I
know, yeah. We were on we're quite simple, because we were on Laxey Beach. We'd made some sausage butties at home.
Nice.
Took a packed flask of coffee. Went down to Laxey Beach, and my phone was just ringing, and I was like, "Ooh, it's not the office. It's not anybody else. I'll pick this up." And it turned out to be the person who wanted to buy it, ringing me to see it. So, granted, I did a bit of work on our wedding anniversary, but I was forgiven.
When there's a process like that going through, I suppose she wouldn't mind.
She was like, crack on, yeah.
Can you tell us who the person is?
I can't. No.
You're not allowed. When will that? Is that going to be something that the news will pick up as well? Or?
I don't think so. There's an element of discretion within our business in terms of, like, I can't say, if somebody asked me, have you been involved in it, have you done it? I couldn't sort of say, well, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even tell you who bought £100,000 flat.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like,
though, isn't it?
It's
just
not
your place to say. So
no,
to
but if you really wanted to, all of this type of stuff is public information. You can go and find it out. So, but it takes a while for that to become public information. Yeah, you can find out anybody. If you want to pay a couple of pounds to check the land registry, you can check anything you want.
What was your favourite part of that house? Like, when you were walking through it? Was there bits of it that really really stood out to you in there? Because not many people have probably been in there, I would suspect.
The main sort of atrium or hallway is kind of elliptical shape, not oval, not circle. It's quite elliptical, and the main hallway is extremely impressive. It's sort of extremely tall. There's a very intricate pattern on the flooring, and it's hard not to be sort of taken back by that place.
Yeah.
I loved going there. The views were great. The driveway was the
Right.
driveway was amazing. I actually really liked going there in the sort of springtime because the whole driveway was lined with daffodils. That was really nice. Yeah, really lovely.
Daffodils are probably my favourite flower, you know.
I'm just ashamed they don't stay out for longer. Like those cherry blossom trees that only come out for like 2 weeks or so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you into flowers?
My wife is. I like looking at them.
Yeah.
This past summer, we've really sort of transformed our garden from a square green box into really sort of intricate flowers, and all of that type of stuff. So that's been nice. I like looking at them. My father really loves his plants as well, and but my wife's out there digging them out and sorting them out, so she loves that.
Does she ever bring you out and say, "Get your blooming hands dirty"?
Yeah. That's when we fall out, though.
Really? You're not into that.
I don't like being told what to do.
Hence why you run your own business.
And I can't really argue with her because I don't want to.
Well, that's a fair point, and it's an interesting one. Around that house, it's such a big deal, and like you say, the press have picked it up.
Yeah.
But what's the Isle of Man housing market like as a general? Is it
at the moment? It's
is
good.
it thriving? Is it good? Is it positive?
Like it's if you did a bit of research into what's happening in the UK market, it's not the same as what's happening here.
Okay, so explain the difference.
So the UK market at the moment is being driven sort of down or slightly down what's going on from a political point of view, from a taxation point of view, certainly at the higher end of the market because I worked in the UK for most of my 20s.
Yeah.
And I still have friends there, and I actually brought one of my friends in on that larger deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're being quite it's quite a lot of pressure on that market, but then none of those things that are happening there are affecting us here.
Yeah.
So you've still got the pressures around borrowing money is expensive, interest rates are high, and that type of stuff, and that hopefully will come off and the market will get even better. But we have a lot of people coming in to our office saying, I'm thinking of moving to the Isle of Man.
Really?
Yeah. And some people are at various different stages of that. Hey, I'm on my first trip. We've never been here before. We want to go look at some houses and see what's around. To some people go, no, I've decided. We just need to find the right place now. So it's quite interesting talking to people.
Yeah. And would you say there's lots of houses for sale on the Isle of Man at the moment? Throughout the last 7 years you being there, is there more houses on the market now than there was previous, or is it declined?
It goes in waves at the moment. Any house that goes on that is nice in a good area, or every area is good, everyone's just got a personal opinion where they want to live. If it's well priced and it's well presented, it goes. So good houses won't stay on the market for long.
Okay. Good. Oh, so the only ones that stay on the market for long is because there's problems around them?
Not necessarily problems around them. Like the cost of doing building work now is quite expensive.
Yeah.
So some people want to walk into a bit more of a finished product.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, you've got to get what we do is there's a bit of artistry and a bit of science in what we do in terms of valuing a property, right?
Yeah. How does that work? Good one.
Experience. So experience in the market, following the market, and also we're in a lot of houses. We talk to a lot of different people. But my background, so I was trained as a chartered surveyor. So I worked in the UK as a sort of registered valuer for a large business, and I worked in agency in the UK.
Yeah.
So I've got a qualification so for instance, if a bank calls someone to value a house,
yeah,
I've got those same qualifications.
Oh, really?
So which some people in estate agency are either chartered surveyors, you can be a qualified estate agent, and then there's you don't have to be qualified to do our job. You have to work for a business that has people that work for it that are qualified. So every business has like a registered agent.
Yeah.
Who is their ultimate, like kind of their responsible person.
Yeah.
In our business, it's me. In other businesses, other people. So, but people that come into our business that are enthusiastic about it, I only always encourage them, go off and get your qualifications.
Go off and do it.
Yeah, you can do it. You can distance learn, become a member of the National Association of Estate Agents, become a qualified estate agent, and that'll teach you everything from ethics, valuing, like how to deal with clients, loads of different things. But my background is from a chartered surveyor point of view, which I had to do to be a different approach, different way of doing it. And I did that all in the UK.
So when you walk into a house, then how do you price it?
There's a difference between there's value and worth.
So you value, how do you value it for somebody?
You look at comparable evidence in the market.
So do you have to go out then and look at other people who are selling houses at the same price?
Yeah, you can look on the internet. You can pull from your own experience.
Mm-hmm.
You can, let's say, oh, I sold a house down the street, but that one was in unmodernized condition. This one's in modernized condition. Then look into, oh, well, how much might it cost us to do that work? How much hassle is there involved in that? How much more would someone, from my experience, pay for a one that's better done? So there's an experience in doing it.
So you've got to have a good eye.
Yeah,
You got to have a good eye for the environment in the house.
but I think everyone has an element of everyone probably sits at home over dinner and a bottle of wine and goes, "What do you think the house is worth?"
Yeah,
People do that.
but how does their view? How is their view or me of an average Joe walking in there and like valuing a house differ from your view? Is what I mean. How do you judge how much something is worth purely on how much work needs to be done to it, or how much nice things are in there?
Also, because
I don't know.
But
do you know what I mean?
But also market drivers. So, for instance, if there's scarcity of one type of product and everybody wants it, the value of that is going to go up.
Because there's less of it.
Yeah. But also at the same time, let's say if everybody wanted a 4-bed house on a certain street, and there was only one, people are going to pay you more for it. So that's it's supply and demand, really.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's other elements that come into it in terms of borrowing money can be expensive or cheap. Sometimes it's been cheap. Like years ago, when people were getting 1% interest rates, fantastic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now they were 4 or 5. They were huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are waiting for money to become cheaper.
Is it going to happen?
Hopefully, yeah. Do I think we're going to go back? Who knows? No one really has a crystal ball.
No, and inflation is happening at the moment, isn't it?
I mean, the cost of your heating, electric, and your weekly food shop, it all seems to be going on the up.
And do you think that means less because the inflation is rising? Do you think that means less houses are being sold because people can't afford? Like, it would be very hard for someone my age. Well, I don't know many people my age who are going out and buying houses at the moment.
It's hard, yeah.
Why do you think that is for young people at the moment, that they can't go out and necessarily buy a house? Is it because of the loan rates, or how much it costs you to
it's hard
loan
because everybody's
money?
different. Like salaries, you want salary as much as possible. Like, but like it doesn't seem now that, let's say, the average salary can afford you the average house. I think that used to be the case a long time ago. You'd think that those two things would marry up, but they don't seem to. Yeah,
like your yearly. I heard a thing.
So what's the average salary in like, let's say, between 25 and 30K on the Isle of Man? So and then the average house price. If you went to the bank with, hey, I earn the average salary, I don't think they're going to turn around and say, well, you can afford the average house price. Yeah, which would be great. Yeah, I'd love that. It'd be great if more young people own their own homes and came out of rented houses. That'd be fantastic.
I suppose it's a market. It makes the market thrive, doesn't it? Essentially.
Yeah, but it also, like, people want to get on the property ladder.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look at it like that, it's how much a house is worth compared to the average salary. So how many times the average salary is?
Yeah, people used to say, "Oh, you'll get 5 times your income."
Yeah, is that how they calculate it?
But I think it's quite hard because you got to save up for that deposit. So whether that's 5, 10, 15, 20% down, that's quite hard to save for. Yeah, and with the price of things, whether it's electric or heating or the price of renting, without getting more expensive, it's harder to do that. It is really hard.
It's challenging, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably a slight problem at the moment because there isn't many young people buying houses my age.
I think it's a big problem.
Big problem. Yeah. And how can we solve that, though, from somebody who's in it all the time?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Build more houses.
You think build more houses?
Yeah, I think probably.
Oh, because it would make the price cheaper because there's more on offer.
Well, not even that. Let's say your first time buyer's house. Let's just pick a number. It's either, let's say, not like a flat or anything. Let's say it's a £200,000 to £250,000 2-bedroom house, right? There's a lot of people that are in those homes that needs. Let's say they want to upsize, or we've had a child, or we've got 2 children. We want to get a bigger house, and there needs to be more of the homes that's from the next step up to move into that will release the stock at the bottom end of the market. Yeah. So I know, let's say there's housing estates that are being built and people go like, oh, but who wants to buy a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house? Well, people that want to move up do. Yes. And if they buy that, then there's a lot more of these houses for sale at the lower end. So I mean, it's just my opinion.
Yeah,
All of
yeah,
this is
that's
just
good.
my opinion.
Opinion's good,
Just
man.
my opinion.
Yeah, everyone's opinions is okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Everyone's
think that's,
entitled to their own opinion.
but is there a problem on the Isle of Man with people, like wealthier people buying multiple houses and then renting them out? So if you, I've heard of people having like
I have
300
heard
houses and then renting them all out. That
I mean,
surely,
don't-
how is that allowed?
Don't get me wrong. There are people with a portfolio.
Yeah.
I certainly don't deal with anyone who has 300 houses.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like, let's say from the last stats that I looked at, I think the private rented market on the island, I think there's about 7,000 to 8,000 privately rented houses.
Oof.
I think that's the amount of them. From I could be wrong. That's the last meeting I was in that had that. And then we as agents, like we're one of the larger rental agents as well. Then there's some other companies that do it quite a lot, and we manage a good few hundred of that.
Really?
But there's a lot of people that manage it themselves.
So by an estate agency managing the rental, what does that mean? So that I pay. So if I was renting a house, I'd pay you, who then pays the owner.
Yeah. But we then look after the maintenance and all that type of stuff. Because some landlords,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's about, you can either have a managed service or an unmanaged service. So some people don't want to deal with the headache of at 3 o'clock in the morning my heat's gone or the ceiling's caved in. If you don't want to deal with that, you can give it to us.
So who'll answer the phone at 3 a.m. if someone's ringing you up saying the ceiling's just fallen out of my house?
Steve in our office.
Steve is the man to
Steve
call.
is the boy.
Because I mean, how?
I wish I was making that name up. Yeah. Right, Steve.
That's great. That's actually tickled me a little bit. Is there a limit? Like, is there a limit for amount of houses that one person can own?
Not that I'm aware of.
So if someone was rather wealthy and wanted to buy a load of houses to make money from renting, that is essentially what makes money, I suppose, is it?
Yeah.
Buying and renting out houses.
Yeah, it does. I mean, but for instance, I have heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, there's thousands of people like buying these houses and then not living on the Isle of Man and renting them out." It's not my personal experience, because at the same time, if you own a house, if you buy a house on the Isle of Man and you don't live here and you're not a resident here, when that money leaves the Isle of Man, it gets taxed, an additional tax of non-residency. So that sometimes it doesn't make sense to send the money away. So let's say you're sat in the UK and you own houses in the Isle of Man. Not only will you pay income tax on them, you will pay a non-residency tax, and then you'll pay us to do. So sometimes you're only getting half the rent. So then, so I personally haven't had this experience of swathes of international buyers buying houses on the Isle of Man. I haven't personally experienced it. Yeah. I do have people that have more than one house that we look after.
Well, that's all right, Bush. Do you think there should be a limit?
I don't know. Because then at the same time, if those types of people don't buy these homes to rent them out, then they're not going to be there.
But can you buy a house and not live in it?
Yeah.
And not rent it out? You can just have a house just sat there?
Yeah.
Do you think
Why would you, though?
Do you think there is many empty properties on the island?
I haven't been into many.
I don't know. I wouldn't have said so.
No, it's not. I don't think so.
Yeah. And you're in the middle of it. You'd know twice as much as me.
Even if we put let's say, because the rental market is extremely tense at the moment.
Why is that?
Just because there's not enough supply for the demand there is. So if I put a 2-bedroom, if the rental team put a 2-bedroom flat on, £800, £900 a month, like we'll do an open day, because we used to go, right, here's the viewings come in, we'll organise them, we'll spend 15, 20 minutes doing, and we'll walk around, take your time. But because there's 30, 40 people ringing, texting, email, and viewing requests, all of that for it, we do an open day. Because I'd be there for 3 days if we didn't. And it's really hard, because then you get people coming and say, well, I really want to rent this. Yeah. And you've got 30 people saying the same thing.
So is it the highest bidder wins?
No.
So who wins?
There's a variety. Who wins is a bit of a weird. Wins is a
so
weird.
Sorry, who gets the house if there's 30 people?
It comes down to a variety of factors. But ultimately, the decision is made by the landlord. It's not made by a big bad estate agent that sat there going, "I really liked him."
Do you think that's why estate agents get a bad rep, because they're the ones who are presenting the price of the house, even though you guys are just matching market value? What are you whinging at?
Can we pause and I'll put them in the car?
That's all right. It depends. You can pause it, but I think he's okay. Are you going to come first? Come here.
Sit. Come here. Come on, lie down.
Poor little pup.
Do you want to just lie down? Come here.
Go over to daddy. He's a big lump, isn't he?
He's actually quite small. He's just really fluffy. He's just really fluffy.
Oh, and have a nurse. What's up with you? Hey, like you guys get a bad rep because you're the ones presenting the price, and it's actually the going rate of the landlord price. Do you think?
Sometimes, I mean, people think we're probably these gatekeepers of this like. I understand whether it's lawyers, bankers, estate agents. We're very easy to blame in the scenario, but we don't set the market. We're not these people who say this is what the price of something. We don't all heads of all these businesses. We don't get together in a room and say yeah. It sounds quite evil and sinister. Yeah, but we don't do that.
It's not something that you do.
No. Like no. We follow what the market does.
Yeah.
Banks have an impact on that. Sort of the general currency markets have an impact on that. There's so many things that have an impact. We are not. We follow the market.
Yeah.
We don't set the market.
Yeah, and that's what can give you the lack of understanding. Oh, careful, Herb.
Oh, keep him up there. Yeah, he's like that.
The lack of understanding is what creates the problem.
Yeah. But if ever, I'm quite. My doors are always open. I'm that type of person. No one was to ask me about it, or even come in and say, like you said, I've never experienced buying a house, or what's it about, or why can't I do this? I mean, I don't have the answer for everything.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer for most things. But yeah, come in and talk. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Like if people want to say, well, why this house that I wanted to view last year was 250,000, now it's 300,000. Why? Cool, I'll talk to you about it.
Explain the reason. Yeah. What's the craziest experience you've ever had when you're selling a house? I was just thinking about that. Have you ever had anything that's absolutely wacky?
Not wacky, but this has probably happened to most stages. When you go to a house and people are still in bed, that's always quite a funny one. They forgot that you were coming, and it's always very an awkward one. But most estate agents that have been doing at least a year or two will definitely have had that experience.
And you've had that experience.
Yeah, it happens less on selling than renting. But yeah, I've had that experience. Yeah, of course.
Hello.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. What else has happened? What other weird or wonderful experiences have you had while selling houses?
I've had some experiences in London. Came across a cool couple of experiences. Whether that was going to sort of really big houses or houses that were owned by famous people or something like that. You never meet them.
Oh really?
Oh, you have occasionally, but not really, because they're just someone will open the door for you. But we have the key, so you're not sat there going around a house in London with a Premiership footballer. Yeah. Even though you're selling houses for them. They don't care.
It's not their problem.
No, it's their house, but they don't like. But I would advise, if I was selling your house, and you asked me, because some people ask me this question, oh, should I be in or not? My advice is always don't be in.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that so you can use your skills to the maximum, so they don't get involved because you know your technique works?
It's not about being a technique. It's just about, because you're always going to be. So I think the viewer will feel more comfortable.
Ooh.
Just having sort of free reign to look at their leisure, at their pleasure, going into houses. I think it's more for them. And also we can talk to them openly, freely, and them not feeling somebody's in the next room listening.
Yeah.
That goes for most things.
Yeah, if I was selling a house, I'm just trying to...
If you want,
I think in a weird way. So like I'm trying to picture now, if I was selling my house, or if I was going and buying a house.
Yeah.
I think it would make me feel uncomfortable.
Bit awkward,
yeah. Because that's obviously an experience that I've never had, but I like to try and imagine. I was walking in there with you and seeing Joe Bloggs sat there and he's listening in.
And also, it's not going to be great if you don't like it and you walk in and go, I hate this. It's not going to be nice for the person.
Do people ever hate when people walk into houses and
I've had some experience. No, I've had some experiences where organized some big viewings. Yeah, like on big viewings. Let's say it's a house that's $1 million plus or something like that. Yeah, and I'm there on my weekend, sacrificing some time, and the person pulls up. And bear in mind, they've seen photos of this house. They know kind of where it is. And I've had some experience where they pull on the driveway and they don't get out of the car.
Ooh.
And I've got the owner in the house. And they don't get in the car, and they're like, "Oh, I don't like this. There's no point in me going in." That's always an awkward one to deal with.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And you're like, well, why are you wasting my day?
No, it's not. But because you got to go and see a place to know if you like it or not.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if they're not going to buy it or interested, you want to know. But at the same time, you've then potentially got the owner of the house there. That's always an awkward one.
Yeah.
Because we
pickle.
work for the person that's selling the house.
You don't. You're a salesman for the person who's selling the house.
Yeah, but we have a duty of care to the buyer to make sure that their experience, for lack of a better term, is looked after, and it's a pleasurable experience.
Yeah.
If everybody hated buying through us, we wouldn't be a business for as long as we have.
Yeah, and do you think your business at the moment is thriving? It's growing. Certainly, being in the press, that means people will trust you. If someone's trusted you, that must be a great.
Or the opposite.
That must be a great bit of promo for you, really, though, because people are going to be like, "Okay, we trust Cowley Groves.
Yeah,
they can sell that much.
That's the idea.
Definitely do ours." Is that how you sort of look at that?
Yeah, I think it's a very simple way of looking at it, but it's the best way.
I'm a simple man.
But the best way to look at things is simplicity.
Yeah,
like that is a simple way of doing it.
You are such a whinge bag.
I know. I think I'm gonna. I think I have to. He's not yawning. He's just. He's getting a bit worried. I will pause and put him in the car.
We'll wrap up shortly.
No, yeah. So no, I've got a bit of time. Let me put him in the car.
Okay. Count us in. We're back.
Yeah.
We've dropped the little doggy back off in the car.
He's got a bit of a palace in the back of my car.
I bet you treat him like a king, don't you?
To be fair, the girls in the office, the girls in the office that look after him treat him better.
Really?
As soon as when I leave in the morning, I'll go and let's say, put him in the car. He knows exactly what's happening. He wants to get out of that because we have 2 dogs, and the other one can't stand to be in the office, and the other one, the one that was here, loves being in the office.
That is like a princess's dog in a way, isn't it?
But the good thing is, because when we decided that I wanted to get a dog, I didn't want to leave him at home. So there was like the criteria of what type of dog we would get to bring into the office. Like friendly, not really gonna be offensive to people in terms of like a size. He also doesn't shed.
Really?
Ideal. So you're not gonna get if he goes and because his trick is he'll just go into the office and lie on his back and rub his belly. You don't want to come out with loads of fur.
Very true.
He's quite inoffensive, but sometimes he takes a disliking to some dogs that go past the window. So
where is the office based?
So it's
in Douglas.
Yeah. So it's on the corner of Victoria Street and Strand Street. So it's like we were right opposite Starbucks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
So all of those businesses, all the estate agents, well, most of the estate agents used to be back in the day, according to my father, they were all on Athol Street. And then it was only sort of a more modern thing that they all came down to the high street.
Yeah. Why? Because people walk past the area, and it's good for them to see.
Yeah, it's quite visible.
Yes.
We estate agents use their windows quite a lot to display properties.
Yeah.
It's also good people coming in to talk.
What do you think about all the vacant areas on Strand Street? Apparently
shops.
Apparently there's quite a few that are vacant, and it just sprung on me there when you mentioned it.
Yeah, so
is that a problem that you guys have seen, or are you involved in getting people into shops?
Yeah, well, we have a meeting with Douglas Council. There's a couple of us have a meeting with Douglas Council sort of every 3 to 4 months, and part of that meeting is to discuss is anything going on with those empty units, and has people been interested in them? So yeah, I think there are empty shops on the high street. There's a variety of factors as to why that's
a problem.
Yeah, and you couldn't point it down to one thing. Costs are rising.
Yeah.
Not only sort of renting a place, but then you've got the fact that the heating it is far more expensive than it used to be. I know it sounds really basic, but if you're running a shop or a cafe or something, you want the people in there to be warm. All day, every day, and you want it to be a nice, pleasurable environment. Or whether it's a clothing shop, that needs to be looked after. There's lots of variables that go into it. So we need to have. I mean, there are some bigger companies. Hey, we're on a farm.
I know. Joys of it. They've never had flies in here before.
Maybe just following my
the dog.
No.
Your scent.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you smell bad, by the way.
I thought you were about to say I speak about your shit, and they're following that.
That's funny.
I'd love to see more shops.
Yeah, busy. I think it needs it, doesn't
it? Yeah.
But it also depends if people are going to actually buy.
Yeah, rather than buying online. Yeah, I get this support local. I'm big into that. Like we're a local business.
Yeah,
we're not. There isn't the good thing about the online. There isn't that I know of. Well, there isn't a UK branded estate agency here. They're all
Okay.
They're all local companies owned by local people.
And do they all get on?
Yeah.
Because it's a competitive market, like we started at the beginning. And would you say it's a healthy competitiveness?
Yeah, I think it's healthy. Like, I mean, I think if we weren't competitive with each other, I think you'd just end up coasting.
Yeah, cruising.
Yeah, and everyone is respectful. The people that run these different businesses. My father's always taught me to be respectful to everybody else, because everything comes full circle. Well, not even that. Even when there's buyers, sellers, just treat everyone as you would expect to be treated back.
I like that.
It's quite a simple thing. I've got a huge amount of respect for the other businesses across the island. We all do the same thing, but slightly differently.
Yeah.
And
what makes Cowley Groves different then? What makes you guys individual?
I think we're interested in. Me saying what's good about us isn't necessarily sort of saying what's bad about other people. Because I can't really comment on that.
No, I understand that. But what would you, if someone
think,
said to you, what makes Cowley Groves individual and why should you come to us? What would you say?
We like giving people our time. And it is a question. I'm quite big on customer service and trying to make people, like I said before, feel that when you're talking to them or showing them a house or on the phone, that they're the only person that matters.
Yeah, that's important.
If they can feel like that, then you've won.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times where people say to me like, "Oh, you showed us a bunch of houses. We found a house, but it's not with you guys. We wish we would have been dealing with you. Can you help me?" Sometimes we can help and we get a fee somewhere else, but sometimes we just say, "No, you just do it."
Yeah.
Sort of like, yeah, just say, "Hey, here's the advice, free of charge," nothing like that. Just trying to be good people.
Yeah.
I think if you're a good person,
yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
But then when people put stuff bad, maybe not bad press, but touchy stuff in the press, like that nursing home you were telling me about.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and how?
Great.
And why do you think that? Why do you think that picked up so much storm?
Because it seemed to be an emotive topic. I tried to sort of not listen to or look to it, but we were asked to do a job. We pitched to do a job. We did the job. It ended up being extremely successful. What it set out to do, we did. So the old nurses' home, there's 70+% of it is key workers.
Wow.
And depending on what you define a key worker as,
Yeah.
but like it was hard work. It was sort of the amount of people that inquired on it was quite vast. We could have filled 3-4 of them.
So what did you have to do then?
In terms of for renting them?
Well, yeah. Like, what made it so what was challenging about the experience?
The sheer level of people that wanted an apartment. So
nursing home people, so elderly.
So we had
people.
There was 30. No, it's not a nursing. So it's just called they're private rented flats, 1 and 2 bedroom flats.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're
Sorry, my bad.
That's fine. So there was 37 of them. I think
Yeah.
within the first couple of days we had 100 to 200 emails. Back.
Good God.
Yeah. So and it was very hard to sort of say, well, that person suits that one or that. So we did multiple open days with lots of people from. Whether it was healthcare workers, nurses, teachers, policemen. We sort of saw it all. There's people from the private market as well. But it was just the sheer level of people that were inquiring on them.
Yeah. But I really want to know how you choose the right person for the right place.
It sounds weird when you say sort of choosing the right person. So
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know
it comes
the
down to a variety of
experience.
factors. Let's say it can for that one. Let's say keyword. Let's say the part of your job.
Yeah.
When you can move in, what budget are you looking at? Do you want to have a nice view at the front, or do you care? Do you want one at the back, or are you on your own? Are you with kids? Because there's loads of people in there. There's kids. There's single people. There's vast of different swathes of people in there. It came down to a variety of factors. Like some people say, "Oh, I really want one of those apartments, but I can't move in for 2 months." Well, we've got like 100 people that want to move in tomorrow. So, but then it was also collecting everyone's information, making sure we did the right thing by our client to make sure we knew who was going into these places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the team that was involved in it from our end, from the client side, everyone, it was really successful.
That's good. That is so good.
And then it's making sure that people that are in these apartments are looked after. If something breaks down or breaks, or they, or even the calling up, hey, I don't know how this works, and talking them through on the phone, like, have you turned these switches on? Have you done this? And just
Yeah.
helping them out. Because at the end of the day, everyone deserves a nice place to live.
Yeah.
Somewhere they can call home. So
100%.
yeah.
So important.
But yeah, I think it's great that building has been reused,
100%.
redeveloped. So yeah.
That's very, very fundamental. Have you ever experienced, these are just random questions that I have thought about, but have you ever experienced, have you ever sold any, what's like your cheapest home that you've ever sold, for example? These are questions that the listeners would probably want to know and
cheapest
think, like, is there any houses on the Isle of Man that go extremely cheap and you're like,
well,
whoa?
Cheap is a sort of relative, like what's cheap to one person could be expensive to another person. But for instance, let's say you can go out and buy, if there have been this year and last year, 1-bedroom flats in the Douglas area for less than £100,000.
Wow.
So
I did not know that.
You can get them. So
I did not know that.
But loads of people want to live in a house. So let's say if you want to get on the property ladder and you didn't want to continue paying rent, and there was a house on or a flat on for £90,000. Theoretically, if you want to save 10%, put 10% of that down.
Yeah.
And then you get a mortgage for the rest, and hope that in a couple, 2 to 3 to 4 years time, that £90,000 has gone up a bit.
Yeah.
And then you could sell it for more than you bought it for and go up. But not everybody is a person on their own, single, or in a couple to live in a 1-bedroom flat. Yeah, it's not for everybody, and it might not necessarily suit if you're married or you're in a couple with a child. You can't be in a 1-bedroom flat.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's a small market.
Yeah, so I think if we can encourage development privately and public, great.
And that's a sort of nice way to start wrapping this up. I think we've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in this.
Yeah.
I came into this unknowing on how the conversation was going to go because it's an area that I've never experienced it, and probably.
Well, when you do, come and see me.
I will 100%. You've got someone who's got to come and see you.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to ask me of somebody who's not ever bought a house before, or anything like that? Is there any questions that you would have for somebody who's not ever bought a house, or when people come to you, what do you ask them?
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I said, it's very rare that somebody sits down in our office and goes, I have no idea what I'm doing. But that probably is a huge majority of people. And I've never bought something before. So, for instance, from your point of view, if you came, would you be quite worried about going into an estate agent and saying that? Or would you find it quite daunting?
Yeah, I would say I'd be more trusting. Would be like, okay, I'm trusting you to find me the right place.
But you're also trusting yourself.
Yes, trusting me. Yeah, that's great.
Because you can see stuff on our website. You can see stuff on other agents' websites or Zoopla or Rightmove. You're like, well, I like that. I don't like that. I like that. I don't like that. And then you could say, right, hey, Orry, there's 3 here that you have that I like. Can we go and see them? And you might get into them and go, oh, I didn't like any of them. And then what you're seeing on photos might not translate to what you're seeing in real life. And you might say, oh, well, I want to look at something completely different now. Yeah. I always used to say to people, like, it's harder now because there's less stock, but you need to go and see. If you've never done it before, go and get a flavor for what houses and flats are like, so you'll understand and get a picture of, like, well, I absolutely, let's say you've got 10 boxes to tick. You'll figure out what your must-haves are. Yeah. And until you can't just go into one place, say I like that, and be done and dusted. If it happens, fantastic or amazing. Yeah. But you need to get a sort of an understanding experience of a few different places. Yeah. Which is harder when stock levels are low.
I'd actually almost feel bad getting you to take me out to 4, 5, or 6 different houses to see them.
That's part of our job.
That's part of what you guys offer.
Yeah, and it's also part of these people that are hoping to move to the Isle of Man, that are so many from different walks of life. They have no idea about the Isle of Man. They don't know whether they should live in Ramsey, whether they should live in Peel, Douglas, or the South. And we do take them to things that we probably know they might not end up buying, but that's part of what we do.
And giving them the full experience.
Because I mean, the way that our business works is we're technically not paid for everything that we do. I will only get paid by someone if I sell their house. So it's quite, so like I'm not. Here's my bill for here's the hours I work.
Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking.
I'm paying you. Yeah, no. So it doesn't work like that. So we've got to be confident in our ability, our time. We got to give our time for the hope that we do it successfully.
Yeah.
So it's
That would make
there's
sense.
a lot of things that we do out there that might not lead to something.
Where's your favourite place on the Isle of Man? If you could move and live anywhere on the Isle of Man, where would you live? You've seen so many houses and so many places.
There's some that I come home, a couple places in the last year or so, because I've got 2 kids, so I've got 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old. And I'm like, oh, I could do. You start thinking, oh, could I have a playroom, or could I get a garage or this, that, and then there's been a couple homes that I came home from. I was like, because I see so many.
Yeah.
But there has been a couple in the last sort of 6 months. I've come home and gone, oh, I'd have that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have it's all quite personal. But there's ones that I think I personally would like a house that I could do what I wanted to it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would like.
Yeah, and just you can put what kitchen you want in, what flooring you want, because you might not like what everybody else has done.
Yeah.
So there was one in just outside of Douglas, sort of 5 minutes outside Douglas, sort of between Douglas and Ballasalla. There was a house I came back to. It had 3 acres. It was a nice. Actually, to be fair, it wasn't used as a farm, but it had like stables, so you'd quite like it.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely views, sort of older farmhouse.
Yeah.
So it had a lovely.
Nice.
Yeah, it had a nice little bluebell meadow at the time I was there.
Ooh.
And then the St Mark's Country Park was right in front of it, so you had the animals coming up to the fences, and I could just see my girls running around when they were older. And you got to help people actually, and that comes on to you got to help. What we do as a job, if you can help people visualize themselves in a house, that's great. So, and I try and do that myself. So if I like that in that house particularly, I was like, oh, I could see the girls running around the grass here, and my wife being able to get into, because she loves interior design, she loves doing all that type of stuff, and she could.
You're very well suited then.
Yeah. No, but to be fair, before we met, she didn't really have that much of an interest in houses. She was telling me it didn't really.
Probably because you come home every day talking
like,
about houses.
Yeah. She's like, sometimes she said to me, I wish you wouldn't, because, well, you just tell me about this really nice house and I want to move to it. But I've learned not to let that bother me. But I keep saying, oh, that's a nice house, or we're driving down the street, or she's like, oh, I like that one, or I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, gosh, yeah. But the thing is, and I get asked about it, like, you say you go out for dinner, you go, because what we do is so personal to people, and it's not like going to a lawyer or a dentist. Like, if a dentist tells you you need a filling, you'll go, well, I need. You have no idea about whether you do or don't. It's not your area of expertise, but people have a certain amount of knowledge for the most part about houses and apartments, and that can lead to really great things, but sometimes everyone has an opinion. And I deal with something so personal, so emotive for a vast majority of people, and that can be quite challenging, but it can also be really rewarding. Yeah. So people, you do a house sale and someone comes in with a bottle of champagne or some chocolates, or just to say thank you.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's nice. So it's nice to be acknowledged for all that type of stuff.
That's really good. That's a nice way to start wrapping this up, I think, Orry.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah.
But we do have one final question that we ask
what is it?
at the end of every podcast. And everyone gets asked
This is where I take a drink.
Yeah, take a drink. Take your time.
Should we done something different?
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of every podcast, we ask, if you could change or improve one thing about the Isle of Man, what would it be?
Apart from the weather.
And why? Apart from the weather, yeah.
How many people have said that?
One, I think, off the top of my head. But this is the question is purely built, and take your time to answer it. But it's basically so we get a wide variety of different people's opinions, and hopefully with the listeners can start building their own ones on the side of it.
To be fair, when I look at this is my life now, I don't really want for anything sort of vastly different. But that might change as my kids get older, or then I'm going into the school system and figuring that outside. But I find my small family's existence on the Isle of Man is relatively pleasurable. Yeah. And I think if we could broadcast that a bit more. But actually, when I say this will help answer this question. I think when people are moving to the Isle of Man, and I've dealt with this for years, I say to people, if you concentrate on what the Isle of Man doesn't have, late night bars to 3-4 a.m. or going to a different restaurant every night, if you concentrate on that and that's your focus, you'll end up not liking the Isle of Man. Yeah. But if you focus on what the Isle of Man does have, so many different nice, lovely
Oh,
walks,
boy.
beaches, countryside. I think if you focus on what the Isle of Man has to offer and we can showcase that more, then I think we're onto a winner.
I agree with you there. That's the first time anyone's ever actually said that to me.
And the funny thing is, so a friend of mine who I brought on to help me with sort of the international partner for that house. First thing, he'd never been to the Isle of Man before, and he'd been to Jersey and Guernsey, and he'd been those types of areas. But when he touched down, and we were driving back through Ballasalla, and he just says it feels more open and green here.
Really?
And it just feels less claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And I think the majority of people on the Isle of Man are friendly.
Yeah.
I can't really remember. I mean, you have experiences as much as anybody else, but I can't really remember. I'm not on a regular basis having like confrontations with people like on the street. Everyone's really like, for the most part, extremely pleasurable.
And that's what makes it so great, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if we could be a bit more open about showcasing that to people, that would be great.
That's
I think
really,
a lot of people,
that's a really good message.
A lot of people move to the Isle of Man for work.
Yeah.
You try and get people to move here for pleasure because it is pleasurable.
Yeah. Wow, I'd never actually
don't
thought about it like that.
I always, the conversations you have with some people. Oh, if I won the Euro Millions, if I won the Lotto, where would we live? I think I'd probably. I don't think I'd be like booking a ticket to leave.
Yeah, I think I'd stay.
Yeah, I'd certainly have a place here. Yeah, for sure. I can't. There's nothing that I point to in my daily life and go, I really wish this would change. Don't get me wrong. I do think we do need, on a sort of serious note of it, I do think we need to do something about housing in Isle of Man, from a private sector and a public sector. I think we do need to do something about it. And I'm keen to help with some sort of degree, whatever I can, whether that's experience or knowledge, and help whoever I can. I just think we do need to. The only way we can do it is build more.
Yeah, but in the right location, not ruin the greenery of what's here.
It's got to be tasteful. It's got to be done right. We've got enough space though.
Yeah,
and we could be quite good about it.
But it's trying not to get the population. Sorry to interrupt, but it's trying not to then fill everyone and then come back to the same problem again, and then have to build loads more. Or is that just the way the world works?
I think the way the world works, you've got to gradually build consistently.
Yeah,
you've got to consistently allow for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And we are building housing estates. Whether there's one obviously in Ballasalla, there's one going up in Braddon. That is more houses, and they're going to be probably at loads of different prices. But we've got to do private development, we've got to do public sector development, but then there's got to be funds available to do that. Yeah. So I'm not the answer saying this is exactly what we should do, because I don't have the answers. Yeah. I may have 1% of an answer that comes together, but we just got to encourage development, but we got it in the right way. Yeah, we don't want to give planning permission for a development in 10 years time.
I agree.
You hate the look of it.
I agree with you. I think that's a good message.
Not spoil our natural landscape, because it is what makes us special.
Mm-hmm. No, amen.
Yeah,
I think that's a really nice way to wrap it up. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And shout out to you guys.
Yeah, shout out to you as well for doing this. It's great. You must get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
You know what? I'm a curious guy. I love finding out about people, finding out about areas that I don't know.
I think the first time I came across you, I went for the first time, I think it was last year or the year before, went to the Young Farmers Show. Yeah. Never been to it before in my life.
But that was an experience.
Oh, yeah, it was. And we got one of the sort of seats up on the top, and I was like, right, let's just see what this is like. Yeah. And it was certainly a very interesting experience. Yes,
it's a certain experience that people either love or hate.
It was far more tongue-in-cheek than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it was great.
It's very... it's hard to explain, but it's enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah. And everything's done with a good heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing's malicious.
Thank you very much, Orry. Absolute pleasure having you on. Cool. See you later, everybody. Bye. Perfect.